Okay, let's get into your first market, bro. What have you brought to me today?
Alrighty. First market I got here for us is Cardi B having a number one album this year. Cardi B's about to release her launch was it? About to release her sophomore album. It's been what 7 years, a 7 year gap since she's released an album.
Does it?
And that they put something out saying, will she hit a number one album? I think the reason why I was interested in this market is I actually don't know what it means for like an album or like a song to be like number one with all these different like billboards and
Right.
charts and all of that. So if anything, this was more of an exercise for me to like think about, okay, what is the definition of it? What are the criteria that needs to be met? So when looking at the rules, the outcome is Cardi B needs to have a number one album on the Billboard 200 by December 27th, 2025. And there's Billboard Hot 100, there's like Billboard Top 100. There's like so many different ways of slicing this, but at the end of the day, for this one, what it just looks at is looking at like album consumption between now and the end of the year, and this looks at week to week consumption of whether or not it hits like number one as the top album. So Cardi B is going to launch her album this Friday, and I keep saying launch, release her album this Friday, and uh then from Friday onto the next, that's like a full week that the Billboard 200 will look at. We'll see what sales look like and whether or not she will be number one. I actually think this market is reasonably priced. Yeah, so right now what you're showing is like all the different charts and stuff. So I believe this one is the Billboard 200
This is
for
this week. This is the live chart,
this
right?
is the live chart. Yeah, this is it. So the idea is like, will Cardi B on when she releases her album hit number one at any week within any week from now until December? Her best shot, from my opinion, uneducated opinion, because again, I don't know anything about anything with this, is that she really only has this week, and then you have a bunch of other albums in Q4 and holidays that are coming up. So think like Taylor Swift's releasing a new album not
Right.
too far from that. You might
Good
have
luck.
some big artist that drops an album, or as a surprise drop. That one's less likely, but you never know. Um, but yeah, there's a few like bullish and bearish signals that I can go through. But to kind of go back to this, like how this is tracked, if you click on the third tab here, um, there is these kind of equivalents of or a way of measuring what like an album sale looks like, when it comes to streams versus like album purchases and stuff, and they kind of normalize everything, and that's what feeds into this Billboard 200. So like a stream from like a paid subscriber of a service like Spotify is going to be like some exact value, or some exact ratio to like one album consumption. They even
Mm,
break it down to like not just streams. If you're subscribed to the service and streaming it, that's a different numerator or different number than if you're listening to an ad supported version of it. So if you're on like YouTube
right.
and there's like ads, there's just like a different accounting there. It feels obvious like explaining it now, but to me this was just like very interesting. I'm curious to hear if you've had any thoughts and opinions on this when it comes to music countdown.
Yeah, it's an interesting market. It looks like it's up a lot this week. Can you explain why it's up so hard this week?
Yeah, I think that within this week, she's been doing a lot of promotional stuff relating to her tour. Like she's like kind of
Hmm.
doing the rounds of saying I'm touring in 2026. I believe there was like some more information about who's going to be on the album. So if you go to the last tab here, there's a track. Let me scroll down a little bit more. There's going to be an image. There it is. That shows the actual track list and those who are on it. So we have Selena Gomez, we have Kehlani, Lizzo, Summer Walker. Like you got a lot of
Lot
Janet
of
Jackson,
features. Lot of
a lot of
features.
features. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that plays. I think. I mean, I haven't done the homework at all, but I would think that helps a ton with like
Right,
getting
right. So
people to
what
number
time
one.
did she put out the track list? Do you know? It looks like this was today or earlier this week.
Yeah,
Um,
I let's see
as
if we
well
can look
on
at
here.
that. Um, checking. Oh yeah, okay. So So yeah, when looking at that image, she posted that on her Instagram 7 hours ago. So we could
7 hours
actually
ago.
see how this is. I mean, honestly, not that much from.
Right. Not that big of a move post track list, but a much bigger move earlier in the week. Did she just announce the album earlier in the week, or you think it's just promotion?
I think it might just be promotion. I mean, that's something to do more homework on for sure. Oh, I see. It looks like she announced the tour 2 days ago. But again, yeah, it's been a longer time frame that we see this run up that you're looking at.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think to kind of like kind of close out a little bit some of the things that I've noticed in terms of like, so I think the market's reasonably priced um in terms of her having a number one album within the year. She's not competing with
I
any other
disagree.
release.
I think this
You
is so
disagree?
high.
Oh, okay. I would love to
I
hear.
disagree. Oh my gosh, you'll pay me what, 3-1 to take the argument that Cardi won't have a number one album? What is LW? Do you
Last week.
know? Last week. Okay, so this is where it was last week, how it peaked on the chart, and how many weeks it has been on the chart.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Interesting. The data I think we're missing that we would want to pull is what's the longest a single album has stayed at the top of the chart? Because to your point, for Cardi to have a number one this year, she has some fierce competition, right? There are other kind of heavily anticipated albums dropping. I wouldn't be shocked if someone like Taylor Swift was able to dominate that number one spot for however many weeks on end, right? Kind of consecutive weeks, and Cardi could only ever, you know,
All you need. So yeah, all you need for this market is 1 week to be at number one. You don't have to
right,
stay at one for like a long period of time. And I think that's why like when her album's releasing, there really isn't that much out there that would get people to stream. So if you scroll down a little bit more, I actually saw Morgan Wallen's album, One Thing at a Time, 132 weeks that it's been on there. Um, Long time. It's number 7.
yeah, very long
Peaked
time.
at 1 last week, is at 6, but it was like hovering around within here for a very long time. So we have all the way up until the end of December. Q4 is the part. What the really the bet is like on Cardi B, when Cardi B releases the album up until like the start of Q4, when you start getting like the Taylor Swifts and like other people, like the holidays start coming around, other albums start coming up. So it's kind of a tighter window, but I do think that she'll be able to get there.
Yeah, when is her release date?
Friday.
Interesting. So there are, I mean, yeah, there's how many weeks left? There's 2, 4, it's like 14 weeks left in the year or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah,
interesting.
some of the
Like
bearish signals, there's
14
one
at
signal
bat.
too. Yeah. One signal too that might be like, it's either bearish or bullish. I think it's up to the person. Is that it's been 7 years. She's had her first
Right,
album that she dropped. It was a huge hit, just crushed a bunch of charts. Had a few songs that went like number one. People loved it, and then
right,
it's been 7 years. That's either a great thing that's just gonna pop off
right.
this
That's either
album.
adding anticipation, or she
It's
has
fallen off.
fallen, become less relevant,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, if you want to take the other side of that, maybe we do a little side bet outside of the call sheet streets. But
Right,
yeah,
right. Well, I think there's a lot I would want to look at before taking a position. Like you're right, 75% might be appropriately priced. I think I would want to see how her other albums debuted.
only
And
one. She's only had
and
one album before.
she's only ever had one album.
Hmm.
Interesting. Did it debut at number one? Or did it peak at number one?
Yes,
Probably.
definitely
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
probably.
and had a lot of
Um
songs that like crushed it as well.
But then also looking at what other heavily anticipated albums are coming down, and what the kind of like average time for a really heavily anticipated album to sit at number one is, and take a very like, there's just so much data that already exists
Yeah,
that you could roll into this. But my instinct is that 75 does feel high. That is my instinct for sure.
interesting. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
all she